Adobe Firefly has changed, things have moved around, tools are in slightly different places. So we're going to have a look through the actual user interfaces and show you where everything sits inside of Adobe Firefly, from the new AI assistant, and also there's the new studio inside of Adobe Firefly. Now, quick disclosure before we dive into the actual video, I'm an Adobe Firefly ambassador and they are sponsoring this video, but all the opinions and demonstrations are my own and they've not asked me to say anything in particular. So this isn't a demonstration on how to actually generate things. This is just a walkthrough of the user interface so you can actually get to know your way around. At the top here, you can see we've got this bar here where we can actually jump between different programs from Adobe. You can close that by just clicking on this little icon at the top here. And if you don't see, you can click on that to open that up. You'll also occasionally see different offers here. I'll link all of the different offers down available in the description below for you, so you can have a look at those and sign up if you want to upgrade your model, or if you're signing up for the first time, there'll be a trial option down there for you in the description. So I'm just going to close that off for us. So we've got this nice clean kind of like page. Down the left hand side here, this is where we can jump between different options. We've got image, video, audio. We can discover, which is where we'll see all sorts of different options available to us and things that other people have generated. We've got Firefly Boards, we've got the timeline, we've got the AI assistant, production, custom models and files. Now I will be going through each of those in a few moments, but let's now have a look inside of the home page, inside of the center section. On the home page here, we can see we've got this quick generation option up here. We can switch between image and we can switch between video, and then depending on which one we're on, we'll be able to choose the different model or the different partner model. We'll be able to choose the ratio of the image or the video that we want to create. And then if you want to dive in and take a look at the actual image generation side, you can click more, or you can click on generate, and that will then open up the image or video generation page where you can then start refining this. Now down below that, we've got a couple of prompt generation options. We've got landscapes, we've got marketing and social tools, cinematic, easy for me to say, illustration or portraits. So if you click on those, you can see there are some prompt generation options. You can load those up and click generate, change them however you want to, but it gives you a starting point if you're new to generating images or video inside of Adobe Firefly. Now on the bottom here, or below that, we've then got the access to the new studio, and you can click on that and that then open that up. We'll come on to that later in the video. We've got generate image, generate video, we can expand images, and we can also generate fill images, all from the home page here. And then below that, we've got a couple of different options which might change from user to user because it does say recommended for you. And you can see on here we've got different trending. We can then switch to image, video, audio, boards or gallery. If we click on the gallery, that's going to give us a list of different options and things that people have submitted, and you can click on these and you can load these. And if you click on the remix option here, it'll load up the prompt for you to try and generate something similar yourself. So again, you've got some prompt ideas there for you. So if you are new to generating either video or images inside of Adobe Firefly, you can come to this area here and see what other people are using as their prompts to be able to create images and video. And if you do want, you can see some of these are images and some of them will be videos as we've scroll down here. If you wanted just images, you can just click on just images here, or you can click on videos and that will filter out depending on what it is that you want to have help generating. Now let's work our way down this left-hand panel here. You can see I've got image selected here. So if you are starting off with an image, whether you want to generate one or whether you want to edit an image, this is where you would probably come to do that. You can see here you've got option to generate image, or you can choose to edit the image, and you can hover over either of those and it will open up a different interface for you. Again, if you hover over an image at the side here, you can see that pops this out as well here for you, so you can upscale, remove objects or expand the background. And also you can see this area here in the middle that we saw earlier on where you click on image. That's then going to give you a few different options. You can see here we've got generative fill, you can cartoonize things, you can generate image, you can create a sticker out of an image. We've got character generation, remove people, headshot generator. There's all sorts of different prompts and ideas that you can get started off here inside of the image area of Adobe Firefly. Now, if you do click on the generate image option, you'll see this is the window that it opens up for you. You can choose your different model, whether that's a Firefly model or partner model. You can choose all of those down the side here, and then you can choose your aspect ratio, your resolution, whether you want it to use Google search, and then add in any reference images. Type your prompt in the box down here, and then you can see here you've got a prompt features option. It'll tell you how many credits it's going to use, and it'll then, once that's all filled, give you the option to click on generate image. And you will see in the top up here, above all of that, you'll see the option to turn on this beta option here, and that is where it will then turn on the studio, or the studio option, which is currently a beta feature. But we're going to come back to that in a few moments. Now, next down in the left hand panel here is the video option. Under the video option, we can generate video, we can prompt to edit a clip, or we can edit a video if we wanted to. Underneath for that, we can see also we do still have this gallery here where you'll be able to see other people's submissions, but you can click on generate video. If we click on this one as an example, it's going to open up the window very similar to that of the image generation, where you can choose your model, the resolution, the aspect ratio. Some of them have a frames per second option here, and also a duration option, and whether you want to include audio or exclude audio. Turn that on or off with the toggle button here. On here we can see we can actually add in a reference image if we wanted to, or we can start a video from a particular first frame on here, and that's where we'd then add those on here, type in our prompt, and then we can see over here how many credits this is going to use. And once we've got all of that filled, we'll be able to click on the generate video option. Along the top here, you can see we can switch back to the gallery. This is where we're in the generate option, or if we wanted to edit a video or change a video, we'll be able to come over to the edit video option. And again, on here, you can see we can turn on the beta feature, which is the Adobe Firefly Studio, where we can turn that on. Now, next in the left hand panel here, we've got the audio option, and this is where we can generate speech, we can generate sound effects, we can also generate music. Now, the sound effects we can generate, we can use that either via a text prompt. You can see we've got text to sound effects option here, or we can even use our voice. And you can also translate videos, enhance speech, and also use text to avatar. These are all multiple options where you can generate music, soundtracks, and sound effects inside of Adobe Firefly. Now, that's the main options of Firefly where it comes to generation options available, covered, but we do still have some further options or areas inside of Adobe Firefly that I want to cover off, including the new Adobe Firefly Studio. But let's get back in and take a look. Now, next down here, you can see we've already had a look at this, which is where we've got Discover. That's where you can see what other people are creating, whether that's images or whether that's videos. Then below that, we've got Boards. Now, Boards is one of my favorite areas inside of Adobe Firefly. And if you've not seen Boards, it's a really great place for ideation. I'll link a video down below for you where I actually walk through myself using Firefly Boards in a very recent video. So I'm not going to go through that in this video, but I will link that down below and up in the card up here for you. But I will just quickly show you that this is where you can kind of like build out all of your ideas and storyboard things. As I say, I do go through all of that in the video down below and also linked in the card. It's actually up this side. Next, we've got the timeline editor though, and that's the next option down here in the left hand side. And this is a video editor inside of Adobe Firefly. So you don't have to just like export all of your images and your video and your soundtracks and your sound effects and all of that. You're literally being able to generate and create everything all in one place inside of Adobe Firefly, and then putting it all onto a one timeline inside of Adobe Firefly here. So if I have a look at, or show you this option here, this was a looping video that I did recently. Again, I've done a video on this. I'll link that up here and down in the description for you. This is a looping video that I created inside of Adobe Firefly and also inside of the Adobe Firefly timeline editor. You can see I've got a couple of different videos here. And this is where we then can add in, so you can see here, these are different sound effects that I generated inside of Adobe Firefly. This was a voice that I created inside of Adobe Firefly. And then this bottom one is a soundtrack that I all created inside of Adobe Firefly. So you can see there we've got multiple layers, multiple different options, whether it's video, we could add in there image stills, we've got sound effects, we've got the voiceovers, and we've also got the audio all built there and put onto one timeline inside of the Adobe Firefly timeline editor. And again, I've done a video on the timeline editor recently, so I'll link that up here and down in the description for you. Now we've only got a couple more options before we dive into the Adobe Firefly Studio. So the next option down here is the AI assistant. Again, this is in beta mode, but this is exactly where you can come to chat with the Adobe Firefly AI assistant to talk through what it is that you want to change on an image or a video or anything else like that. We can see we've got different options here that I've created recently, and I have done a video on the Adobe Firefly AI assistant. Again, I'll link this down below and also in the description for you, so you can actually jump to those if that's something that you're interested in. In fact, I'll put all of these in a single playlist that I'm mentioning in this video, and I'll link that playlist down in the description for you, so you can actually find all of the related videos to this video. Now, a couple of more quick things on here. We've got production. Now, what production is where you can do bulk actions, whether that's removing backgrounds, cropping images, or color grading. Those are all options in here. If you click on any one of these, you can download samples. If I click on remove background, you can see you can download samples and have a play about with that and walk through and do what it is that you want to do on there inside of the production options. Next, we've got custom models. Now, custom models is where you can actually train using your own data sets, and this is all stored just like within your own model. It doesn't get shared to Adobe or anything else like that. That's all here, so you can actually train your own models on your own work if that's something you wanted to do. And then the next thing, or the last thing before we jump into the Adobe Firefly Studio, is where all of your files are. Now, this is an option where you've got all of your elements, your projects, your different files, your generation history, your favorites. So if you favorite something, you can easily find it for later on if you wanted to add it to a timeline. As I say, I've walked through all of the timeline editor up in here and on the playlist that we've mentioned down in the description. Now, the last stop on this walkthrough of the Adobe Firefly user interface is the Adobe Firefly Studio. Now, this is currently in beta, so expect this to maybe look a bit different if you're looking at it in the future, but this is the Adobe Firefly Studio. Now, on here, we can click on project media, so we can have all of that available to us. We can add in here reference images, we can describe and add our prompt, we can switch between image or video, which partner model we want to add on here, and now more importantly, we can actually create elements, so we can generate things with more consistency. Now, to generate or create an element, you can click on create the element option up here, and also once you've actually got your elements created, you click on the manage elements option up here. And this is where you're going to create your elements. Now, I've not got them in this login here. I have been playing about with this on a beta option a couple of weeks ago, but I need to come back and play about with this, and then I'll do a proper full walkthrough on how I'm actually using this. But you can create a new element, and that can be either a character, a location, or an object. And then when you're typing in your prompt, all you would do is at your actual element that you want to add in here. You can see here is a couple of options that I have in my elements options right now, but you can see I can actually add each of those, and then during the prompt I can actually make sure that those reference elements are included in the prompt for a more consistent generation inside of Adobe Firefly. Down here again, we've got the different models that are currently supported inside of Studio. We've got all of the different elements. Again, you've got all of your different ratios, your resolutions, and then your Google search options available on here. If you want to have a look at your generation history, you can see you've got a toggle up here, and you can change from just this project to all, and then you've got all of your generation history down the side here, so you can actually come and select those. One thing I would like to see on here is being able to favorite, but you can see now once we've actually got some of those generation histories available to us, that then opens up this different area here, so we can see we've got our different references, so we can see we can come back and it will show us what our reference image was, what our prompt was, I think that's available on here. There you go. I can generate the click on the prompt, and that gives us the option to then, if we wanted to regenerate this, we can click on load all if we wanted to load all of the options in here. So we can then come back and start playing about with things that we've generated previously and then tweak them if we wanted to maybe have a different image, play about with the prompt, play about with the different elements. So if we wanted the same room, you know, where we had the location options of an element, but we wanted to add in a different character inside of that room, these are all options that are going to be available or are available inside of the Adobe Firefly Studio, which is currently in beta mode. Now, if there's a particular part of Adobe Firefly that I've not covered off in this video or that is in the playlist down below, let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to create a video around that for you or try and help answer those questions for you. But until next time, thank you very much and bye for now.